Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mainline Super G, this time with another Warframe video. Now today I'll be talking about the Grendel quest. Not Grendel himself, but the quest. I really found it interesting. I did it a while ago, of course, but I really found it interesting that you can do this quest without any mods. Because, the devs always worry about, scaling missions, scaling armor, scaling health, how to make the enemies more difficult, how to make the game more challenging. And this was one of the ideas that they had, we have to do this in order to get Grendel. Of course, it's really hard to do it alone, and I think that further ahead in the game, they might have to reduce the difficulty level because, once everybody gets Grendel, if a new player wants it, how is he going to get a squad to it? He either has to get a friend or a couple of friends or somebody on the recruiting chat to help him. But it gets harder and harder. So I enjoy this type of mission a lot. There was another mission that was similar a couple of years ago, which is one where you only had to use your fists, which is it was a Halloween event. It was I think it was called Jack-o'-lantern. So you could just use melee. You can use any weapons, and I find these types of missions, these types of events, challenging, but I also find them a lot of fun because you really gotta think outside the box doing these things, and that's what we did on this mission. The first mission I did with excavation, I did with Frost, and it wasn't really that much of a problem. Frost is already one of the strongest in the game, and even without mods, its bubble can provide a lot of defense. So as long as I was near the excavator, we were fine. If somebody started the excavator before I got there, that could be trouble. But it was now the other missions was a lot harder. The defense mission and the survival mission, I was having trouble doing it. So I went to the recruiting chat and I got people to do it. I did it with Trinity, and then I asked for someone to bring a Volt, and I don't know what the other one was. I don't know if it was Nova. I think it was Nova. It was either Nova or Saturn, and the other one was Nyx. And people just bypass Nyx and bypass CC altogether. But in this type of mission, they prove their worth. They prove they're valuable. When you really have no mods and you have a little bit of leeway to work with. Nyx proved itself useful. It wasn't shooting at us all the time. It wasn't shooting the capsule all the time. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And because Trinity just overpowers everything, because it gives over shield, it gives energy and all that. It really puts emphasis on team playing. It doesn't put an emphasis on mods. And then we started, joking around. What are mods? I mean, are mods really necessary? Is this really necessary? And that got me thinking. The devs have all this trouble, with scaling and difficulty and all that. And maybe they always look at enemies, or they look at the weapons, or they look at warframes. Okay, if everybody's using this warframe, we're gonna nerf this. Everybody's using this weapon, we're gonna nerf this. And really, I think what we should be looking at maybe would be the mods, because right now we can just mod for infinite amount of damage, infinite amount of critical chance, there's no cap. I personally don't like to modify a weapon too much. I don't like to put a lot of fun because then it defeats the purpose of the weapon. Really, I mean, if you have a weapon that's has medium stat, so medium crit, and everybody just goes for crit, and it doesn't matter if it only has like 10% crit chance. I don't know. People just go always in the same direction. Maybe if they cap that, if they said, okay, you can't mod for above, or you can only put 1 or 2 crit mods, or you can only put 1 buffer of or 2 buffers of damage, or you can't have multiple with status and damage and status working in tandem and then crit. I know something that would just cap the weapon and the warframes. The only other way you'd have to pass that cap would be to team builds. I bring a Chroma with a team build of Vex armor, so you can have more power. I bring a Rhino with War with a with a team base, that gives reward to other players, gives also strength to other players, and that builds up. I think that would lead to a lot more understanding of the game and not just power creep. Because right now Warframe is just all about power creep. It's about having the most damage done to enemies in a single time. Of course, there's hordes of enemies, so it kind of makes sense. But I kind of feel that we're just going to a with a tractor over a field. We're just decimating them. Then of course there's a one-shot guy. There's a shot from a grenadier or corpus or something that instant kills. Only instant kill use actually stops you. You know, Other thing, and now they even put in shield gating, which is another thing to stop us from dying. But really, I think that at high levels, you only die from one shot or something like that. Something kills you instantly or really fast. There's not like a scaling of it. It's not like there's never a moment where I just lose my shield and go like, oh, I gotta get to cover, or I got to get away from it, or when I see my energy drop down and go like, oh, I gotta use a pad or something. There's very rarely something like that. Most of the time, I'm just spamming, putting pads of energy, of health near me, and just shooting everything using a bunch of abilities, and like everybody, And I think that just trying to to modify the missions, the weapons, and the enemies and the warframes is wrong. At this point, it's just everything feels like nerfs. So maybe if they just look at the mods and said, because they even added an Exilus mod, which I personally I think I unlocked it like once or twice, I think the second time was by mistake, because that slot serves no purpose. I mean, no purpose whatsoever. And most of my builds, that thing is just locked. It's just there. I just keep it to the side. But if they kind of created something that could be used in tandem, or would be worth better as a team, I think that will be beneficial for the game, and that will be beneficial for the community. I really do. Still, Grendel was a great mission. I enjoyed it a lot. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And as always, have a great game, guys.